but at the same time, there's not that much to really talk about.
No, because you don't get a lot of...
Like, unless we go into more detail about the actual resistance and stuff. But right now, there's not much...
There's not much you know. You know that Doom is in the resistance, and he wanted to win, to, see where they were taking people, or, how they were taking people. He knew they were going to the Shadowlands. But, yeah, there's not a lot of things that are... you can talk about, really, because they don't really go back here ever. Queen Bee, you don't ever see her again.
You hear about her. But, like...
Stephen is her son. You see Stephen a lot after he shows up.
Well, like, the only other time is talk of Rithmere is when we get to book 7.
Yeah, and it's just a mention. So, yeah, there's not a lot of things. There's no callbacks to this. There's no... Like, in the next episode is going to be a long episode. Because...
This is the book, like, this is the episode you're looking forward to.
Yeah. Because not only is it a great book, I think it's the best one of the original quest. There are characters and species that show up all the time afterwards. So you can talk about that and everything. There's not a lot of... Book 4 is good at 9 out of 10. But there's not... It just kind of is.
It doesn't become more relevant until later on in the series.
Yeah, it's just relevant to itself. It's not
until when we actually meet the Resistance in book 6. Then that book 6 and 7 is when it kind of gets more... I mean,
hell, the only time you go back to this area is when in the third quest, when they wake up the Lapis Lazuli dragon. And they're just kind of on the fringe of it. And they don't go back to the desert or anything like that. The dragon just shows up and he's like, I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to go to the desert and eat some sand beasts. I'll be back in a little bit.
No. He was trapped in the dune.
Was he?
Yeah, the Lapis Lazuli was trapped in the dune. Because, you remember, they had to give him strength from the Lapis Lazuli because he was, kind of took a nap in the sand. And
that's
he got buried. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is they don't ever go back into the desert. There is no further mention of the hive. No, they just kind of...
They do talk about the sand beast periodically.
The dragon eats a few. Yeah,
it's this is a good book, but it's we don't really go back to it.
They never go back to Rithmere.
Even but also at the same time, it's I don't want to go back to the hive.
Never in the 6th book when they go to Torah, he goes to Torah several times later. Yeah, this book is just kind of a self-contained little thing. It's really good.
Yeah, it gets mentioned, but never really gone back to.
But honestly, if you could summarize this book in about a page and read that and skip it. And you're not missing a ton. You really aren't.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was the only even for the pages, it's you can pretty much sum up the book in a chapter.
And
I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, it's a good book. But there's not a lot to talk about other than we were talking more about the fact that there's not a lot to talk about. But yeah, no, I give it a 9 out of 10. It's a good book. It's a good book.
Yeah, but it's the one I remember the least of.
Yeah, see, no, mine is book 6. Because that book is terrible.
Book 6 is one of my favorites.
Maze of the Beast, my foot.
We will get to that one later.
When I can truly live up to my moniker of he's the hateful when we get to book 6.
This has been Darren the Monster Lover and
he's the hateful.
We will call this an episode.
Thank you for listening to this podcast by The Real Caudle Productions. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did making it. Reach out to us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Real Caudle Productions, or at our email at kaijureviewforyou@gmail.com. The Real Cuddle Productions hope you've enjoyed this program. Hurry up! We're not even supposed to be on this podcast. The Real Cuddle Productions is... Oh. Hello. Mr. C, we don't have time for this! The Real Cuddle Productions deals with streaming and podcasts of that sort of thing. And Hurry up, Neil! These are all podcasts we do. Look up Kaiju Review for You, Through the Eyes of an Ensign, Cartoon Nami, and 15 Minutes in Hell. With episodes that get published weekly. Now, let's hurry up before we're found out. Hey! What are you doing? Oh no, cheese it! Look us up!